beautiful divine masculine and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Gem Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long. We'll see how long this takes. But I do have a reading to do. I have some cord cutting. And shields to do. Hello, welcome. As always with the cord cutting, make sure to basically suture the spots like an umbilical cord, close up that open spot, or another concept or type of healing that I use is kind of like cauterizing it, just to keep it sealed, keeps them from reconnecting or opening up. But I also have a reading, so let's do that too. I just jumped out of the shower. Good vibes here. Just cooked up some protein. I also just finished some baking. What are you guys doing today? A long time, Owl. You're so funny. See, Owl's my friend. Owl keeps me company. Owl's full of wisdom. It's also very pretty. It's a mirror. Very reflective. I like the illumination it gives. Now the light from the candle dances off of it. While I was cleaning though, look what I found. I made these in high school. It's a plate. Fairy plate. Also, whoops. This rhinestone started to peel off the side, but I drew a couple over here. And then I also made this bowl. I've been keeping my crystals in it lately, but this speckled one kind of looks like an Easter egg. Ceramics class in high school, pottery class. Normally, I hung out there just to avoid the bullies. I didn't like them. I spent a lot of time in the art wing. I spent most of my time in the art wing. To avoid the bullies? Hard, yeah. Most of them are too busy trying to be cool elsewhere, trying to pretend to be cool elsewhere, to bother doing any artwork, for the most part. Right, that was a good choice. I was smart. Yeah, I thought so. It's more peaceful, for sure. Find your way home. Bullies, I know. Overgrown meanies. What are you becoming? Amber. This is an Archangel Uriel stone, actually. It doesn't keep us from being our true selves. You shine your special weird little light so all your other fellow weirdos know how to find you, yeah? Oh, speaking of little Easter egg colors, like the speckled bowl. And so this is about shedding old skin or cycles, aspects of being. For me, on levels, it's being able to put down the warrior mode more and step out of trauma, space of trauma. Somebody says, what did you bake? I started to make bread, and I also baked some brownies. Also, you know what I found funny and interesting? I didn't know it until today, but the same day that I found out about the domestic abuse stuff a few days ago was on that particular domestic abuser's birthday. It was on the 21st. But what I didn't know, and I already mentioned that, what I didn't know that I learned today, because I had been so busy dealing with that, I hadn't been working on this other business project, is that the finalization of some of the stuff I'd been working on in regards to legal proceedings on that, namely protecting my business from bullies, criminals, thieves. Yeah, that went through on the same day. So the same day I found out about a domestic abuser's nonsense was on his birthday, and it's the same day that the information that I was waiting for came through to protect me from thieves. How funny is that? It all came through on the 21st, which actually is when we shifted into Taurus. It's Taurus, Aries cusp. Yeah, see the cutting off of these old cycles and people. That's it. 2 bullies, a male and a female. Cycles closed on the same day. Information that I needed to close each cycle came through on the same day, and they were 2 separate situations. Except for the female one was just, if you understand the concept of the Judas and the Jezebel energies, I call them jumping Judases or jumping Jezebels. And it's basically the same dark spirit that just jumps from one person to the next if they are open to that nasty energy, right? If they're willing to stoop to that level, basically. I am not. I would not be. You have to have low morals, and you have to be willing to do nasty things to people, grimy things to people, and most of us are opposed to that. But they weren't. And so the male was working with people here who were, they joined a cult and decided that they would do spell work together, and they were sending out something called chaos and conflict spells. That's what they would call them. And basically it's just an attempt to create division and isolation. They try to cause problems for whoever they're targeting. And one of the things, at least the concept is that if they do a spell to send off chaos and conflict magic, that anybody that's in that lower vibrational energy will be open to basically jumping on their bandwagon. And so it's really just like they're all just tuned into the same radio station, and the station is the devil's. They're listening to the devil whisper to all of them. Oh, full of riches. It's in reverse though, and they did this because they thought that they would gain money or something. No. Heal your heartbeat. Yeah, like I said, stepping out of warrior mode, being able to heal. Including healing of the nervous system. Right? These are people who caused damages. Feel in order to know, and you do have to honor your feelings. It's all connected. The body and the brain. Yeah, see, look. I hear, if you're lost and you look, then you will find me time after time. Better with time, Amalite. There's also the Kundalini spiral here, the karmic spiral. So they thought that they got away with things, but the cycle has come back around. And the snake, they think that they're chasing us, but they actually end up just chasing their own tail. Whoops. Yeah. We talked about this last night too, the ruby. You only more so. So it's shedding the parts of ourselves that we had to either hide, or in some cases it's not hiding, it's just protect more. There are worlds within you. First, the fire. Yeah. And so there are a lot of other facets or aspects of the personality of whoever that this applies to. And so you have to feel your feelings and honor those feelings. Oh, look. That's so funny. I'm just about to redo my nails too. So this is probably the last time you'll see these ones. Calm your mind. Breathe. And I actually have Larimar over here somewhere. I may have fallen. But Larimar is a multifaceted stone in the sense that it looks like water, looks like ripples of the water reflecting off of a pool or an ocean or something. Thank you. Except for, even though it looks like water reflections, it's made out of a volcanic stone. And so it's kind of like the volcano with the calm your mind and remember to breathe. Feel your feelings, sure, and honor them. But I hear don't let them rule you, meaning don't make bad choices or stay stuck in that. Feel your feelings, process it out in a healthy way as best as possible, and let it go. I also just remembered that I picked up another download in the shower earlier, and it kind of was a note to something that I picked up last night, and it has to do with the copycats or the attempted copycats. And in my case, God has called me to do what I do and be who I am, and even set my price list to what it is. God is not calling them to copy me. That's some kind of demonic impulse they're following. Speaking of, it does go hand in hand with the channel, doesn't it? But this is about, you see one facet or one crystal here, and assuming that that's all that there is to someone, but actually they have all these other different parts of their personality, or all these other different things, skills maybe that they're good at. And so it's really just about being able to become your full self, not feeling trapped or encased in the past or stuck in some kind of stagnant situation. See, look, Amethyst. Expand into wonder. So being able to grow as a person, mentally, emotionally, through these situations, while still, yes, flying free, while having a safe space to roost, being able to fly free, and being able to cut off anything or anyone that's not good for you, not healthy for you, that is a hindrance. And I'm talking about the type of person who is injurious and abusive, like, for example, the people who harmed my daughter and I. It's that type of a thing. People who don't care that they're hurting other people. I shouldn't have to make this disclaimer, but I instantly, when I started outlining this, it's why I started giving this disclaimer, I picked up a karmic who thinks that any little issue in life is just the end of the world, and also like they feel some kind of way when I call them out. Let's say I speak up about the fact that they're hurting somebody. They feel like I'm hurting them when I'm telling them how they're hurting people. And that's delusion. That's nonsense. But in that case, they feel like they're allowed to hurt people, but nobody's allowed to, in their mind, hurt them, even though what they're claiming is hurting them is just somebody addressing how they've been hurtful, right? They feel like they can hurt people and it shouldn't matter, but the second you hurt their feelings by talking about it, well, that's a problem. And that's, again, that's silly. It's nonsensical. I shouldn't have to make that disclaimer, but since we have had some lurking cross watchers here, and just so that they're not confused and they can't try to put words in my mouth or twist the ones that I stated, there's that. Be soft and listen. Breathe in your trueness. Lepidolite is very similar, actually, to, oh, sugar, what is it? It's the rainbow stone. You know, I don't really resonate with that one very much. I never have. Too much. Always tends to run away from me. It's not really my stone. Hold on. It's a very common one. It's beautiful, though. See if I can find it really quickly. Labradorite, that's what it is. It's so common. It's usually one of the first one that pops up, and it did. Is labradorite. Lepidolite is very similar to labradorite on levels, or actually, really, there are crossovers between moonstone. Also, lepidolite is very similar in crossover to what is it? Granite. Interestingly enough, they have a lot of similar mineral compositions in them. Now, some of them have minerals that others don't, and that is what separates them and makes them different stones. But for the most part, a lot of their makeup is similar or the same. A step up to sovereignty. Interesting. Lapis was the first one that I actually picked up as an adult. Although I did wear amethyst around my neck when I was pregnant. I realized in retrospect I was protecting my daughter and I, without realizing it. Somebody said, why were you wearing it? It was just pretty at that point. I didn't have any spiritual context to it before that. Just liked it. I was just drawn to it. Now I know why. But I didn't when I started wearing it. The devil, right? Because I was dealing with the devil and I didn't know it. I was, whoops. Yeah, not blocked anymore, though. See, these are people who tried to create obstacles in our pathway, High Priestess. But you see, I saw that and said, no. Uno reverse, checkmate. Yeah, the devil might have tried to be here, but I have the strength to dead the connection in the situation. Yep. Yeah. Empress with divine support, the mother. And the tower moments that they tried to create. Yeah, they've backfired in their face. But now, the divine masculine energy sees what's going on. Yeah, it's been growing lately. The Hermit. So we've just been minding our business, taking care of business. Yeah, balancing out these connections while remaining balanced. You see the crown on her head. It's very much giving two things. Joan of Arc for one, also on levels. Does that not remind you of the Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty? And then this also kind of almost looks like a battle helmet, doesn't it? Like a crown, yes, but also armor. A little bit. This too, kind of, you see? some of these people are facing litigation, or if it's not litigation, the Hierophant, it's God, the divine. If not that, this is in reference to a marriage or a union coming forth. If not that, the Hierophant, rather, the strength. This is about also secrets being uncovered. This is just about having regulation and balance within your own life, setting some kind of balance. The Hierophant can mean a judge, but it's typically somebody fair and just, upright. It's good at seeing the whole picture and making decisions. And then, let's see, I do have one more deck right here. And I wanted to, been getting flashes of this actually for 2 days. Just see, yeah, some kind of upright official knows what's going on. Has been working diligently behind the scenes to balance the scales, but also sees that there were people working very hard to create imbalances, and this person sees what they've been doing to a divine feminine, to the privileged lady. Does that not also look to like two things, Aphrodite and then kind of like the Statue of Liberty? Thank you. Okay. Okay, anything else? I feel like I'm done with this deck, but hold on. Interesting. That's what I thought. Okay. So, two things. My body's been in sync and cycle with the full moon, but I just noticed that it switched, and so I'm like, let me just check the moon calendar, because I feel like if my body's doing that, there must be, the moon must be shifting again, and it is. There is, in fact, a new moon on the 27th, so just in a few days, so that makes sense. I heard that you're in sync with the moon, yes. And then I also just heard taffeta. Now, taffeta typically, it's still used, but I believe taffeta started to be used on dresses a long time ago. Let's look that up. I'm actually interested to know. But it's often used in formal dresses, like very, I hear dress to the nines, like black tie formal wear, taffeta. Prom dresses, or I just heard debutante stuff. They're sleeping, they're good. Taffeta fabric. Taffeta is a crisp, smooth, plain woven fabric made from silk, nylon, cupramonium, rayons, acetate, or polyester. The word came into Middle English via Old French and Old Italian, which, again, I would say that this was one that was used way back when, like, old school French and English ball gowns were really famous. Look, let me show you this. You see the way the fabric is bunched up like this, and it's like shiny, and it holds this little crinkle pattern, so you could sew it to have lots of body and volume. They loved that for these big ball gowns. You know, the ones with the hoop skirts and all of that? That's the type of stuff that I believe taffeta was used. But let's see. Taffeta, when was taffeta used? Especially if it was made of silk, very, very commonly old school. Middle Ages. Can be traced back to 12th century Persia, which is modern day Iran, and later it was adopted in Europe, particularly in the Middle Ages, where it became a symbol, told you, of wealth and status. So, you know those movies about fancy, old fashioned, here, hold on. Like this, like old school kings and queens and the ball gowns. This is the type of stuff. Like this or this. Very old school, very French style, you know. So that's the type of stuff that taffeta would be used for. It's still used. Okay, so taffeta's use persisted through various areas, exactly, including its popularity in France during the 18th century, and interestingly enough, its use in World War II for parachutes. Now, it currently today remains a popular choice for wedding dresses. See, evening gowns, prom dresses, that's what I was picking up, and other high-end fashion or home decor, applications. So that's taffeta. I heard it. I don't know, are there school dances going on right now? What are you talking about? What is the taffeta reference? Oh, okay. Hold on. When is prom? Late April and May. Well, there it is. Prom's coming up for Americans. It's coming up, should be this month or next month, I would say. Let's see. It says, usually it's in May. First week of May, maybe, or I don't know. But yeah, that's why. I bet you they're talking about a few things. But that's one of the things I was picking up. I'm also picking up something about a Netflix show, like something about a Netflix show that has this era of, I'm seeing a couple of them, has this era of style and fashion in it. What is that I'm seeing? Outlander is one of them, I think. Getting flashes of for some reason. Also, The Last Kingdom. I keep getting flashes of that for some reason. I don't know if that's accurate, but there are messages in there. I'll check them out. I know I need to go back and finish a couple of series eventually. But we'll get there. Let's see. The Crown. It says The Crown has taffeta dresses. A Bridgerton story. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. The Crown is a show about the royals, the English royals. It's their read-up of Princess Diana's life, basically, and the other stuff around it, but of course. And then Bridgerton it's relatively self-explanatory. If you know, you know. If you don't, it's a made-up show about that era. They wear fancy dresses and go to parties and do the promenade thing. What was it that I picked up? The debutante? Yeah, that kind of a thing. That also fits this theme. So there's that. Anyway, quite interesting. April 27th is the new moon. Hold on, let's see if I can find my book really quickly. I think I moved it. That's okay. We'll get that. I'll do it on a second reading when I'm more prepared for it. I was going to do it off the cuff, but let's just wait. I feel like this one needs to come out. Is there anything you want us to know? So I would say people trying to either throw the evil eye or play with voodoo. Or I just heard Obia. Yeah, because they're jealous of... Didn't you say that? Think people are hurt because they're insecure. Yeah. Jealous of the attention you receive from others. So they're, what? Trying to get readings? To spy on people? I smell cigarettes. You need to go mind your business. Beware of anyone new entering your life. Hold on. Let's see. You don't trust the old ones either for somebody, but... And I know better than to let these toxic people back into my life or in my life. But sometimes there are people that want to come in for the wrong reasons. And sometimes they come in with flattery. They don't always come in as bullies at first. Masculine hater. This is somebody who's insecure. They either don't like their own masculinity, or sometimes they don't like women who will assert themselves or stand up for themselves. These are people who, hot and cold body flashes. If your body, like sometimes as a protection mechanism, if you go into fight or flight mode, or your body is recoiling against someone, you can get cold. If it shuts down, you need to protect yourself. On the flip side, if it's a needing to defend yourself energy, you can get heated, and it's that blood pumping. So these are people, hex breaking ritual. Okay, so they've been doing spell work, or if it's not spell work, it's just negative intent, or even gossip and slander, really, whether it's to a judge or just to other people, always trying to one-up you. Yeah, so they'll just tell lies to get what they want, even if it's not true, just because they think it sounds good and people will believe it, because they think that's winning, and it's not. It's not winning. It always backfires on them in the end, eventually. They're seen as untrustworthy. They've got to get back any gains they made by lying. Just they lose. And it's all because a toxic ex is mad that you won't deal with them, or I won't, and that they're being cleansed out as a result. They're being cut off. They have been cut off. Ah, look. And I'm feeling like I don't need to reverse that. They know exactly what they're doing. They know they're being malicious. And some of these people wanted us to fit the toxic narrative they were falsely spreading about us, but we don't. They do. And they can't run away from that. They can't project it on other people. It's who they are. These are people who wanted to cause energy harvesting and vampiring off of people, but you see, karma's a bitch because they were, and the evil eye they sent has backfired, whether they meant to or not. Yeah. And no matter what nonsense and drama they try to create. Ah, see? You're good. And so am I. My light workers. Ew, I just smelled... What is that? Somebody needs to go take a bath, dude. Go, go. Get out from my feed. Karmic, you smell like fish. Maybe go get your pH checked by a medical professional. That's gross. Not me. I just got out of the shower. My baked brownies. My house smells like chocolate and shampoo. You're weird.
dirty, obviously. Please seek help and stay off my socials. Go get your hoo-ha cleaned out. Or whatever that junk was. Good grief. Smell like an old seafood boil. Somebody's laughing. The karmic who knows that I'm talking to them is not. If you can smell yourself and you know I'm talking to you, then why don't you go put your butt in the bath or go to the doctor's? It's only 3:35 up here on the East Coast. The medical centers are still open today. You can go. Ew. See? Mind your business. And see, this is why. All of a sudden I smell this stank-ass coochie. Because the person who it belongs to wouldn't stay out of my energy field. So God said, well, here. They wanted to try to play in your energy. This is who's in yours. And they stink. Someone does not want you to be happy in love. Someone's trying to manifest you in their life, but you see, they backfired. Dark energy sent your way will be turned back to the sender. And so there's been illumination on the situation. Let the rays of sun clear away any negative energy. Yeah, someone's so obsessed with you to the point where they cannot stop thinking about you. And obviously, where trying to stalk me online is more important than taking a bath or going to a medical professional for their pH imbalance or whatever thing they've got going on. That I can obviously be smelled by other people from the outside, which is alarming. I mean, it got pretty bad. Means it got pretty bad. And then also that they felt like trying to go get readings on other people instead of, again, minding their own business and focusing on the bigger priorities that they had was, can you imagine? Can you imagine being able to smell your infection or whatever that is and thinking that stalking me online and wasting money getting readings is better than spending that money dragging your ass to the doctor's office to get your whatever? It smells like a venereal disease to me, girl. I don't know what that is, but that's I hear it is. That's the medical mediumship I'm picking up. It smells like you've maybe slept around and you slept with the wrong person and you let something stew and now it's turned into an infected cauldron in your pants. You greasy witch. You know what? It's funny. I'm also picking up that this is one of the people that's connected to the group that's been sending me death threats again. And one of the last ones they sent, it was all to the effect of burn the witch, calling me a witch and threatening to burn me alive, like burn me at the stake recently. Again. But this time they added a fun little cauldron threat in there. I want to burn you in a cauldron instead of at the stake in the pyre. Yeah, well, you smell like an old infected bowl of soup. So, good riddance. Drag your ass to the doctors. Leave me alone. Toxic. And we can smell it from the outside now. Your dirty soul stinks, seeped on the outside of your skin. So yeah, you're moving past those who have issues with you. It no longer matters to you. You can smell that? Yeah, it's one of my gifts. Like I said, can't compete where you don't compare. Who gave you the clearance? God did not call you to copy me. That was your demonic impulse. You don't have the skill set that I do. Not in this life or others, but I do. And I have. And I continue to do so, and I will. Someone's going through tough times and they want you to experience the same thing. No, you need to go to the doctors and get your shit checked. Pardon my French, but good grief. Yeah. See, they want to do something, but there's nothing that they can do to harm you, not physically or spiritually. They're blocked. Massive success is coming to you after you release someone toxic from your life. Yep. And maybe in some cases, this is, you've already done that. You've already cut the cords. You've already walked away. And so if they were trying to do spell work or candle magic, that's a no. See? Told you, the thief, the theft magic, yeah, that's a no also. Trying to take something of yours, time and money. Tell me about that karmic male energy that I was picking up on earlier. Yeah. So he thought he would get money for himself by targeting a divine feminine. And he tried to put her out, take her out. And he didn't think that would come back to haunt him, but it is. It is. Especially since he worked with a toxic old karmic female to do so. Yeah, to try to put divine feminine in a bad spot. I hear, or treat her like an old maid. Yeah, now he's worried. Tell me about that copycat thief karmic female. House in reverse, divorce, or losing a home or stability. This could also be the house of, or a foundation of something, even a career or a business that she's, yeah, see, occupation, tried to build. Because it's been on the blood, sweat, and tears, title, name, work, concepts, property of other people, or something. Yeah, courthouse. Now she's facing litigation, especially if she was in willful violation, infringement territory. And her pathway's blocked, you see. Great fortune. She was trying to work against a divine feminine. Yeah, she was being toxic, though. She was not an official person. She was not an upright person. And she worked very hard to get nothing. She tried to present herself as a superior person, or I hear the victim, or divine feminine on levels. I hear the hero when she's really the villain in her own horror story. And there's that like Statue of Liberty energy again, but she's in reverse. She's losing money. She's losing money because she tried to work. What is this couple energy? Or possibly a divorce, again, like I said. Because she tried to snatch something that wasn't hers, or build off of something that wasn't hers. Yeah. There's a karmic who said, it's not your origin story, it's mine. I had it first before. Bad health in reverse. No, she's lying. She's claiming that for money. And that's also what the holy team just said. No, she's not. She's lying, and it can be proven with timestamps. Yeah. Something about marriage, divorce. What is this? Yeah, see, she wanted to be seen as a high honored person. It's crossing now. Because she was trying to block change from happening. She didn't want the truth to come out or any consequences for what she'd done, but she blocked her own pathway trying to block someone else's or take someone else's. Especially when she tried to claim someone else's life path and rank, or take over it, or take the journey, or whatever it was. She didn't seem to realize she was setting herself up for the level of karmic challenges and struggles and tests and all kinds of stuff that come with that territory or with that level. She says, I didn't sign up for this. No, you did. You thought you would snatch blessings that you thought just came so freely and came so easily and didn't come with blood, sweat, and tears, or the hard work that you tried to overstep and not do in order to get to the finish line. You tried to get to the finish line without even actually joining the program. I can't even say race because it's not what it is. Like you're not even, this isn't even your spot. I see it. Like, it's that runner analogy again, though. This is like somebody who sees people in a marathon. This is not even a runner. They don't like running. They don't run. They are not good at running. They don't want to run. And so, but they want the prize. They want to be seen on the news, and they want to be in the paper, and they want the prize at the end of it, and they want the trophy, and they want everybody to hip hip hooray them. And so they have this plan thought out in their head, and they've decided that they're going to go in their car and get as close to the finish line as they can and just park. And then they're going to, just before the finish line, just try to sneak onto the running track. So it looks like they've been running the whole time. So it looks like they've been in the race the whole time, but really they're just basically driving to the finish line to pretend to join the race so that they can pretend like they're the winner when they're not, they were not even in it. They're not even registered. So they're just looking for the attention and other people's blessings. They didn't train, they didn't even register, they weren't even in the running, let alone the race. And this being a metaphor to emphasize the fact it's not a race. It's certainly not to try to compete with other people for their destinies. It's their destiny. You're walking away from your own when you're trying to go mess with other people's. That's not it. Maybe you don't understand that, but you see, they're all concerned now that they're getting consequences while still trying to argue, no, I can try to compete for other people's destinies. But you see, at the same time, you're complaining that you have consequences for it, proving my point that you can't have it both ways. No, it doesn't. See, now you're just trying to argue and gaslight, and you're wrong, and you're not going to be correct by arguing. And I'm not going to argue with somebody who's 12 years old in their head and just wants to argue because they wish that they were right, because they're too childish and egoic and stubborn to acknowledge that they're not. 4722. Yeah, see, they block their own journey trying to snatch someone else's train ticket, pretty much. As they saw where the person who did the work was headed and what blessings and opportunities for that work were coming. And so they wanted to be on that bandwagon. They wanted those blessings for themselves. So they thought if they snatched the story of someone else or claimed credit for someone else's work, then the opportunities that were coming to the originator would instead be like averted away from the originator, and they would go to them. Basically, it's the concept of a spiritual wire fraud transfer. Okay, it's spiritual money funneling, pretty much. It's illegal. That's not what that is? Okay, well, don't complain that you're catching karma then. Silly. Mature man message. Yeah. And so this is, it's going back to that original karmic male. Why? Because that Jezebel female energy was just responding to his little cult call, that's all. Whether she knew it or not. Impulsive. Because about the time she started doing that was about the time they started sending it out, in fact. I noticed. He was a cult leader. Part of the little copycat clique. Yep, and they're all facing charges and money losses now. Not even just financially, like spiritually, they're bankrupt. And that's worse because you can't manifest or build anything, and you keep suffering losses. It's lack and loss frequency, not gain or manifestation. And they think that stealing from someone is going to, this is a delusion. They think that trying to steal from people, because that's what trying to compete with someone for their own destiny is the way to gain what they want, because they think that by taking what they want from someone, they're quickly making a gain, especially by basically shortcutting their way and not having to do any work for it. But the logic behind that is irrational. It's not logic at all, in fact. It would be like a thief robbing someone's house, and when they get back to their house with all of the loot, that's what I hear it being called, the loot, like a pirate. They think, I'm rich, I've got all this stuff, except for the police knock on their door to arrest them, to collect all of the stolen goods, and then redisperse them back to those who were stolen from. So they don't actually gain anything. In fact, they lose, because they're getting arrested, and then they're going to have to pay the court for the time, and then they're going to have to pay the victims, not even just in giving back what they stole, but then damages and pain and suffering and stress and whatever other things there are. They thought by taking a shortcut to get what they wanted and undercutting people at the expense of others, they were going to make a quick gain or a quick buck, but it actually puts them in worse karmic debt, which translates and manifests into physical, human, earthly problems, debt, trouble, lawsuits even, etc. Just depends on the situation and the person, but yeah. See? Vampire. See, look, I just split the deck here. Spiritual bath, because these people were trying to cause problems and block my Lightworker collective and I, because they're energy harvesters and vampires. But you see, you're protected. I have also been picking up that fire sign, masculine energy trying to come through with the sex magic and stuff again. No, I've also been picking up that same energy trying to send like disconnection spells between the counterparts, conflict spells and such. But your spirit team's handling it. It's being cleared out. Yeah. You're being protected by divine beings. These people were, like I said, just following demonic impulses, being reckless. It's been a wild couple days, girl. Hope you're all right. Yeah, see backfire though. Yeah, thanks. I feel that. Clear that out. Thanks. Completion. Energy work done against you. Yeah, weird, jealous. Is done. It's over. The spell has broken. This is not necessarily magic. This could be prayer. Someone around you is doing white magic, and you will be victorious against over any attacks against you. And remember what I said? I picked up something about STDs or something for that stank ass karmic. If it's not a physical STD, then it's spiritually transmitted disease, and condoms don't protect against spiritually transmitted demons, just so you know. Family curse just popped out a second ago. I didn't even show that one, but I just saw it. So generational curses, and this just popped out too. Someone is so obsessed with you to the point where they cannot stop thinking about you. So anyway. I've got one more here for you. Then there's also equivalency Reiki. So something about scales being balanced. Equivalency Reiki. If, okay, let's say somebody stole something from you and it was worth, this is the download I'm getting, it was worth $1,000. A court ordering somebody to pay you that $1,000 in damages or whatever other things, this would be something that equivalency Reiki could help things regulate and balance. Like if somebody stole something from you and it cost you $1,000, then this would help encourage justice, encourage balance, right? Not push anything that's unjust, not push anything that's not supposed to be, but to help things be rebalanced after these people caused a tipping of the scales. Right? Not to negatively influence anybody's decisions, but to remove people who are of negative influence out of the way so that the universe can dole proper justice to all parties involved. It's just a clearance energy. Free will, still intact, but if they're violating people's free will, then they need to go. Crooked judges involved as well, because that's been a thing for some people, unfortunately. There are shields coming out too now, a couple of them. And then I'll cut those cords. I feel that big throat chakra attack. They want me to be quiet. I hope you're okay. Yeah, there were some good cleanses the last couple of days. Yeah, see, the Buddha prepares. I also said something about a book. I was going to grab a book that I was looking for so that I could do a reading, but I don't know which shelf it's on. I need to go double check, and I'm not going to spend the time doing it now. So I will come back to do another one when I'm a bit more prepared. I said about maybe half an hour ago. Okay. Yeah. So standing here studying, look at all of the spirit team standing behind this intellect with the book. Views of the ego. Yep. So it's about clearing out of these very cold, icy type of energies, being able to put down the armor and clearing out people who are just very cold towards us so that we can open up into the spring and summer energy. These people are also facing reality checks now as a result of, I hear, the damages that have been done and the consequences of their actions. And then also you have this divine masculine energy who, look, he's coming to the Empress over here. I just heard slow and steady wins the race. And this seems to be the same emperor when he's in his studio. At nighttime, he's just been connecting with her, basically through this moon intuition energy. And she's been his muse. He's been thinking about her. He's been painting her. He's been sculpting her. Even by the light of this flame here, because he's worked straight through the day into the evening. Wishes fulfilled. He says she makes me happy. Something about clearing out of these karmic trenches, getting out of these nonsensical cycles once and for all so that we can live a happy, flourishing life. Look at all of the overflow of abundance here. Yep. Look. And there's Divine Feminine here. She's got an angel whispering in her ear, fairies over her shoulders. Looks like my last cover photo, doesn't it? 22 up here. That's my twin flame number. Grandma in the corner. Got Grandpa and Uncle. Well, technically that's Mr. Meeker's dad, but this was my uncle. They were both soldiers. This one was a state trooper too. I don't have a picture of my grandpa up here, but he's there too. He was also in the military. Yeah, Archangel Michael, see, they don't like this truth. As I said, they want me to shut up as I open clearing the way. Yeah, because speaking on this truth is opening the pathway. And see, Archangel Michael is especially fond of not just, it's like anybody seeking proper balance, justice in general, especially through the system, but very, very fond of women and children, certainly, especially since they are the types of people often that toxic people find to be vulnerable targets, easy targets. Michael doesn't like that very much. God doesn't like bullies and seeing people be abused. Loving elementals, bird's nest. Yeah, remember I mentioned that earlier in the previous deck. Being able to fly free, but also having a place to nest, roost. And this very innocent, childlike, protective Fae energy. Something about the Fae being very protective of the children too. I mean, you've seen me get real, what Mami Watatero would call get real gully on behalf of the children. Put them up. Pick on somebody your own size. And I don't mean me. I will let God move through me. Dukes up. You won't like it. You'll end up with my toes between your teeth. And my foot won't let up off your throat, I promise. Straight on those karmic necks. Stay there. Hilarion. Hilarious. Yeah. You see, because they were trying to tap into, like, get readings and stuff on us, tap into our Akashics? No. To see what we had going on so that they could try to create obstacles or create difficulties in the ascent? No. I'm picking up that these are the types of people who would complain on the descent, all right? Like, they don't want to do or have what it takes to climb up a mountain, metaphorically, situationally speaking. They don't. These are the types of people who would complain about how difficult the walk was or the hike was on the way down, which is the easiest part. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have what it takes. What do you mean? What are you even doing trying to compete? Come on. I just split the deck also. Didn't I say she was his muse? Yeah. Does that not look like Aphrodite? Hello. Yeah, they tried to mess with the Akashics. No. You know, there's a guardian of those, right? And her name is Zadkiel. Yeah, they were messing with things that they knew not the first things about and shouldn't have been tampering with. And now they're collectively in trouble as a community because the whole spirit realm has been sitting at this cute little table discussing just how to handle them. And, well, it's not in their favor. It's not. Diversity. Yeah, because they were bigoted. Now, remember the Divine Masculine was looking up at the castle on the horse, ready to move towards Divine Feminine? This is her up in her perch in her castle, full of roses and scrolls. Divine Feminine, the intellect, the wise one. Heard that. What are you going to do on your nails next? I really want to do them today, but I think I might wait just because I have some other stuff, priorities. I need to do a couple of other things first. I don't know. Maybe I'll do them tonight. We'll see. But I have some other stuff first that is just a wee bit more pressing. Put it lightly. Although I've been pretty kick-ass lately. I've gotten a lot done. Oh, gosh. Why? Can I ask? It sounds like the neighbor drama with the neighbor that I dealt with over here. Kind of like weird, just nonsensical. It's not like they were being mistreated. Oh, is it? Is there, do you have to have like breeder licenses or something? Also, they weren't being bred. It's just like she got pregnant, right? I thought. I know laws are different in different places. I don't know about that. I'm a cat lady. Self-admittedly. I wonder if it's about a breeder license or something. Community. Is it just, yeah. Oh, it's not a law. They're just weird. Wait, what? So how is it illegal then? I'm very confused. Vegas. Oh, okay. So that's not, no, that's different. Making false claims of, and that's what I was saying. It's not like they were being abused or neglected. You were taking care of them. I saw them. I saw the pictures that you sent me. At least when I saw them, they were fine. Um, so that's why I asked that first. I'm like, I don't understand why, unless there are breeder laws, why that would be an issue. But that if that's a false allegation, that would make more sense because they were fine when I saw them, from what I could see. Newborns. That's weird. Breeding puppies is legal, requires obtaining necessary permits, it says, and adhering to regulations. City of Vegas and Clark County have specific requirements for breeding and selling animals, including breeding permits and restrictions of the number of animals owned. City of Vegas requires a permit to own, keep, or possess unsterilized dogs or cats for breeding purposes. But I don't think you aren't breeding them on purpose, right? Dog cop said it was false. Yeah. Wild. Yeah, I remember you sent me that. Crazy. And also, I don't know if it's, I mean, like, if a dog just gets pregnant, that's not a breeding. It's not like you went, hold on. What's, just for giggles, difference between, because, like, what if a dog were to get pregnant, like, out, she was just out or something, and she came home pregnant or something? How could they get the owner? It's not like you're breeding them, you know what I mean? Anyway, it was like, you want to find somebody for adopting or taking care of a stray dog? Come on. Breeding involves the intentional and planned process of mating animals. So it's like you specifically pick a male and a female and you get them together on purpose and like intentionally hope that they'll make a bunch of puppies. That's breeding. It has to be specifically, yeah. But then there's accidental and unintended and unplanned. That's a separate thing. See, they're two separate things. Yeah. So it was just false allegations of, you know what it seems like? It's the cycle of the same stuff with the kids, but through the animals instead. It's like the same energy. And I just talked about that, you know, the jumping Judas Jezebel energy, I call it, when they just repeat the same nonsense from person to person, or the same dark spirit just jumps from one open to the next, open vessel to the next. Put some ham in it and shush. What? Put some ham in it? That's a new one. Dust control? What the heck is that? Mm, gotcha. I guess it's a problem. I've never heard of that, but you live in the desert, so yeah, that doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. In case you were wondering, based on the information that I see in front of me, I don't see any violation. So that sounds like gaslighting to me. I don't understand. Say the dog has no water, the dog has a pool. You say there's too much dust. It's a violation of dust management, but it's not dirt road, it's paved. There is no dust. I'm like, that's just gaslighting. Yeah, it sounds like you're being targeted. Also, as far as even like the breeding thing, we've already established that you weren't breeding the dogs, you just were taking care of them, took them in or something. So that's like they're just making stuff up to make your life hard, it sounds like to me. Which we've seen happen before. Good grief. Oh, God. Do you want me to pull a couple of cards for you? Banned on your business account pages? Why? Yeah. Can I just get a general energy for people being targeted? Let me know if you want a couple of cards. Yeah, I don't blame you. I deactivated mine for a while for that reason. And made it. Also, when I filled out paperwork yesterday, I filled out confidentiality forms for one detail just because it closes off doorways of access to them. For them to me. Alchemist. Cool. So we are adjusting the situation, prophetic dreams, and precognition. So this is about knowing, kind of being able to see what's coming or having an inkling of what's up, being able to pick it up, but then also getting confirmation or maybe even the same type of thing, precognition in the sleep, but it may be just confirmation as well. So for you specifically, artisan, skilled craft worker who makes or creates material objects partly or entirely by hand. Haven't you been making something like, what was it, like jewelry or I don't know, like dream catchers or something? I feel like you shared something like that a few months ago. Please forgive me if I'm misremembering that. Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, trusting your intuition. If you had an inkling of maybe doing something with this, just saw something about Etsy. But I also feel like there's something about working with your hands or doing these projects that helps you kind of get out of your head and like more into yourself, or maybe just like more trusting your intuition more. Good, that's good. Yeah, I saw something about Etsy a second ago. I don't know if you have one of those, but I saw it. So you may have some service. You may have some, I hear you would. You'd have success on that. Eager and passionate to resolve problems of the whole world in the material and psychical sense. Yeah, so this is about creative problem solving. It's being able to work with your hands, artisan to make money. It's about clearing out the energy, psychical. But it's also about like with the situations with people throwing false accusations and trying to, if you've got to deal with the court and stabilize those things, just making sure that that's, look, entrepreneurialism, that's done. And getting the puzzle pieces where they need to be, all the moving pieces. I know when they bombard you like that, usually it's because you're close to overcoming a cycle and they don't want you to do that, or you're close to figuring something out, or both. Sometimes those things go hand in hand, and they don't want, you're getting too close to information that they don't want you to know. Doesn't mean stop, it just means usually they're on the right track if they're that spooked and willing to go that far. The ability to feel the symptoms of others' illnesses, sympathy pains for someone in labor, or even inconsistent energy levels. You may need to protect, you put up extra shields. That's probably why I came here to do that today, actually. Yeah, look. Emotional empath too, highly sensitive individuals who have a keen ability to sense what people around are thinking and feeling. And so if you've got these toxic people around you, they're projecting. I picked that up this morning, actually, for me, in the shower. I picked up a few people trying to project their issues, illnesses, and injuries onto me. Some of them maybe not consciously, or just jealous that I don't have certain things going on for me that they feel like they have going on or that they've got to deal with. But then in other cases, it's people who believe in witchcraft who actually, like an energy transfer or destiny swap type of a thing. So that, it's kind of like that. These people projecting their energy, hoping that they can swap, like even just health or life force essence. It's very strange. The urge to assert the self, will, energy, drive. It's like solar plexus, sacral energy, Mars. And also dealing with these combative people. Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Desperation makes them do wild things and come out of the woodworks. But there are miracles and manifestation here. I just saw that Mother Mary statue. Isn't that what it is? Mother Mary? Yeah, it's just somebody's mad about that. Not your grandma. Oh, look what I'm holding. That's why. Not your grandma. And remember, grandma was sitting in the background of that card from earlier with the angel whispering in divine feminine's ears with the fairies. Yeah. Yeah. Sun. Also making sure to get, I know it's hot, but making sure you get that vitamin D, get the sunlight. And also, calcium and vitamin D both go hand in hand when it comes to absorption levels. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up on it. But it's grandma's not upset about it, but I just got this weird anger ping and like this weird energy with it. And then I saw the flash of this statue. I thought that's what it was, the Mother Mary. I think that's what you said it was. But grandma is coming through with this brighter energy. Oh, Mary's being humbled. That's why. That's grandma's daughter's name, right? Mary. She's mad about the statue. Mary's mad about the Mary statue. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Well, oh, is she trying to get it now? They're mad about it. They're currently, yeah, they've got issues, but grandma's not worried about it. Grandma's like, you all just chill out. It's where it's supposed to be. You humble yourselves. Leave her alone. And so they're about to learn the hard way, I guess. Yeah, psychic power gained through Buddhist meditation, not through trying to energy harvest. They didn't want to do the work or sit with their own thoughts for long enough. Remember, they're too busy trying to project. Yeah. Yeah, they need to stop that. Also, the whole thing with the remote viewing and trying to spy on us, their evil eyes going blind. That's not working. It's gone blind. Creatives help others to see life in a new light, to perceive a new dimension, a deeper way of. I just got a flash of Mount Shasta. You know what this is. The intuition card came out. You already know. This is just confirmation for you. Spiritual gift to yeah, feel other people's spirit or emotions or physical pain. It's the empath thing. Just be careful. That's funny. I didn't realize the stack had fallen over here. Perfectionist. Scholar. Pluto. Penetrating depths of experience. Renewal. Deep transformation. Regeneration. Evolution. Missionary. Focusing on the divine. Social justice. Healthcare. Education. Warrior also came out, so having to stand up for yourself. But being able to overcome challenges. Hello. No, you're good. I thought you might have fallen asleep, but the animal card came out too, and we just talked about that. The whole thing with the dogs. Light beings are sent to Earth to help people, to uplift humanity and support the collective's awakening process. I just saw a bunch of like shadow energies. It's like moving through people around you And those people who are willing to instigate and trying to cause problems, it's like, no, I'm hearing it's not like a group of them possessed. It's just the group of them on that same demonic radio station. They're all just tuned in to the same one. That's crazy. At 4:20 here on the clock. But it's like, where were you though? Where were you when it counted? Where were you when I was going through it? Where were you when people were coming after me? You know, where were you when you could have shown me anything but your true colors? Like, I've seen who you are now. I don't want to deal with you. I hope you had a good sleep, Stu. Are you all right? You said you had some drinkies with the colleagues. I hope you are good and feel all right today. For sure. Hydrate, electrolytes. Also, make sure to get enough amino acids. Bacon breaks down into a high level of amino acid content, and your body can process that. It helps overcome like hangover effects. Interestingly enough, it's not tasty, typically speaking, but pretty toasty bread, like charred as much as you can tolerate it, will also help if somebody ever has too much alcohol. It acts like kind of like stomach pumping, the charcoal effect. Interesting. Somebody says bacon? I didn't know that about the bacon. The amino acids. Yep, your body breaks them down into amino acids and then can turn them into neurotransmitters, or breaks them down and can use them through the neurotransmitter process. So it helps recover. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. It's a brain poison. Good. Good. Yeah. Well, that's good. A lot of people don't. It takes a few glasses of water to replace a single glass of alcohol, and I think a lot of people try to save money in their buzz, so they just chug alcohol and they don't want water because they think it'll water their buzz down, but it's not good for your body, especially long term. Good. That's responsible. I always like to hear that. Hope you had a good day. My day's been good. Busy. Been a busy couple of days, really, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna pack this bowl. There's a karmic who's really angry right now. I'm picking up, there's a question. I think it's Leona. Like, what do I do about the situation? I hear go with the flow. There's something, a question about court, going to court. I just heard yes and no. It means it's a complex topic. Hold on, I need to sit with that for a second. Also, I see another deck. Hold on, I can help. Just have to find it. Here we go. It is. Good busy. Well, yeah, good busy. Largely. just kind of catching up. I spent the last couple days mostly dealing with paperwork and other stuff, so had a nice long bath and did my whole routine. I got some other stuff done here that I didn't do while I was out. I answered some emails, did some business stuff this morning. Dealt with that. Dealt with some legal stuff today. It's been I'm just busy. But you know what's funny and interesting? I didn't know that until this morning. Like I said, I was busy dealing with the court stuff from the other day for the last few days, so I had to put some of my other stuff down for a few minutes. So I picked it back up today just to make sure to check in and finish anything off that needed to be finished. And the same day that I found out about the criminal and his new domestic abuse charge, which proves the last 10 years of his slander have been absolutely slander, which is what I've been saying, is the exact same day that the copyright and trademark, more specifically trademark finalizations on some things that I was waiting for came through. So it all, two separate situations, cycles close the same day. How funny is that? Very productive week, yeah. And it's only Wednesday, isn't it? You must be tall. Sometimes I just hang out under the water, face and all. I need it. It's good for me. Thursday? Is today Thursday? Only Thursday. I didn't really look at the calendar today. I knew I didn't need to. I just put everything else down and focused on the core centers, the most important tasks, like myself. Gotta catch up. That's good. I bet that feels nice. I've always been a water baby. You know, my daughter was actually born in a big bathtub, big hot tub actually, but when I was little, if ever I was not feeling the earth, I was not having a good time here, a bathtub or a puddle or a pool or a lake would usually fix the problem. I started swimming when I was, swimming lessons when I was about 6 months old or so. Blessing of healing. So this is for you, Leona. There's something about being able to let go. I know there's a question about court I picked up. A blessing of time. Blessing to undo an unfortunate situation. No, yes, I did. No drugs. No, it's not a... No, in fact, that's kind of a running joke here. I tell these karmic people, look, okay, I'm a widow. I'm a domestic abuse survivor. You know, I deliver children with no drugs on purpose. You cannot hurt my freaking feelings. I'm stronger than you. It's kind of a joke, but also not. Blessing of glamour. Well, it doesn't tickle for sure. But let me tell you what. One time I was pregnant with my best friend at the time. And I watched her give birth. And they told all of us that the epidural that she had would not make her loopy. But then she was so out of her head, she ended up telling her grandmother all about her sex life and saying things that she would not have said if she was sober. So I don't believe them. And since they said that that stuff wouldn't make the mom loopy, and it did, I also didn't believe them when they said it wouldn't transfer to the child. I wasn't willing to take that risk. It was worth the not tickle. Also, I wanted to be very clear, like not foggy. I would say that probably a lot of people don't even really remember their kids' births if they're all drugged up. I didn't want that. Doula. Yeah, I've heard good things. But not tickle. It didn't tickle. But yeah. Yeah, if you can, I've heard good things about that. In fact, there was a friend of mine, a dancer. She's trans. And somebody says, how does that work? Before she transitioned, she had a boyfriend and was on birth control, and then her birth control failed. And she had this beautiful baby girl. She'd never wanted kids, but then interestingly enough, she ended up becoming a doula. And so really, really beautiful work. And if it works for people, then that's great. I knew that with my mom's history, there was a risk of me hemorrhaging. So I needed to be, although doulas can also go to the hospital with you, I needed to be actually in a hospital just in case I hemorrhaged. And I actually did. Somebody says, what does that mean? It means you bleed too much. You start bleeding out. So somebody says, what did they do? They stabbed me in the leg with a needle full of Pitocin. Somebody says, isn't that to start labor? It also causes contractions that will close that back up, so you stop bleeding out. But yes, it also is used to start labor for people who are overdue. You're right. Good questions. I did not need that. My daughter was overdue, but I did what I could to help encourage no drugs. And somebody says, well, how late? About a week. She was a week late, but I think I woke up at like 2 or 3 in the morning with that first round of like really deep contractions. That shit hurt. So then I went back to bed, and then eventually, I think it was about noon or so, they were close enough together that I needed to go down. And then that I couldn't leave. And then 5 hours later, there she was. My doctor said, geez, I wish all my labors would go like this. I thought she was joking. She was not. Really? Yes, she said. Oh. She was so funny too. She had her doctor scrubs on, right? But she took her shoes and her socks off, and she was like my doula, kind of. I love her. Great doctor. But she rolled her pant legs up all the way to the knee and jumped right into the hot tub with me, straight up to her knees. Caught my little baby. She was so cute. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope she was all right. If that worked for her, then it worked for her. I don't shade people for, if it were, as long as the mom and the baby are safe, that's really what's the most important thing. But I knew for me, that's not what I wanted. I wanted things as natural and as clear cut as possible. And that's what I got. That's what I put in my birth plan, which you should always just be mindful when writing one of those. Sometimes things happen, and just go with the flow as best as possible. But in retrospect, I realize I didn't know it at the time, but it was also manifesting. I was writing it all down. Nope. It, maybe it was her anxiety. And also, I bet she was uncomfortable. I mean, like, especially towards those last couple weeks, you get it gets to be a lot. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to sleep. Everything hurts. You always have to pee. It's hard to eat because all your organs are pushed up in your stomach, and then because your stomach's like all squished up in there, then you get like nausea, and it's just a lot. But it's, children are beautiful. It's life. But I'm not judging people. I get it. It's just not what I wanted. To each their own. As long as the kids are all right. Blessing of the wild within. I know you have issues sometimes with her, but I'm never going to get all up in another lady's grill / vagina either. That's not my business. Yeah. And I'm a woman, and that's still not, I mean, that's to each their own. That's their prerogative. I'm not going to get in the way of that. Blessing of the sight. Okay, so as far as the, okay, Leona, if you're still here. These people have been trying to glamour. They've been trying to cloak the truth or masquerade themselves. It's not new, we know that. Blessing of the wild within. There's something here about... hold on. I hear fearless tact. I hear you've seen this before, not starting from scratch experience, but experience. So something about this, you've either dealt with something like this in court before, and if it's not this type of situation, it's the same type of people or pattern, and I heard that. Something about, oh, so like play it out like the last one. Something about the last one that was won. Did you deal with something like this before and you won in court? Maybe not the same situation, but there are like parallels in it. That's what I'm picking up. I don't know exactly what this is, but yeah, see, like I just split the deck. A blessing of honesty. You just have to be honest. There's no need to manipulate. This is a deer spirit also. This reminds me of the Netflix series Sweet Tooth. I love that one. Oh, wait, that's all about animals. Yeah, okay. And so there's a man in the beginning. Have you seen it? I won't give you spoilers. If you want to watch it, I recommend it. It's great. There are 2 seasons on there. But very beautiful, and the main character looks like this, just a boy. And they call him Sweet Tooth. And so there's a man who adopts him. He calls him Papa. And so it's kind of like you with the puppies. That's what I'm picking up. But there are people after them because they don't like the fact that they're different, or I don't know, it's a little bit complex, but I recommend it. There's context there for you. And as far as the yes and the no, I'm still trying to figure that out, because I don't know if it's like that it's like a scheduling. I hear yes and no, like a scheduling hiccup or error, or something will be like pushed back, or I hear if they're asking for a continuance, don't. It means that they're scared that you're going to go in there with the facts and win. And oh, you know what? Remember how some of the people that were doing this nonsense to you, they knew about me and they were coming on here? Yeah, well, something about hearing me speak about this is spooking them, because I would say that I'm picking up that one of them at least is coming here to watch me. Blessing of connection, and they're mad that, yeah, something delayed. So, but if they're trying to push something back and you have an option to say no or oppose it, do it, because they're trying to buy themselves more time. They either realize that you're not bluffing or that you're not going to back down, and so now they realize it's not going to be like an easy fight or an easy win or something. There's something there like that. I feel like there's more to it than that. I'm not going to claim to know everything, and I don't right quite yet. I feel like there's more to figure out, but I just noticed like there's a wine glass in her hand. It almost looks like there's something about Well, two things. I just got Boy with a Coin by Iron and Wine. I would definitely recommend checking that video out. But then also something about the deception being exposed. Hold on, there's more to it than that. A blessing of rapture. It's karma coming around, but I'm getting yes and no. There's more to it, and I don't want to leave you without the details because this seems a little bit complex. Like lots of moving pieces. It kind of reminds me of the situation that, I mean, not that you haven't also been through it and seen it, but like, you know how they try to do that with the court stuff with like the kids, my daughter, for example, they try to overwhelm you with like lots of different little nuisances and stalking incidents and different dates and all kinds of stuff because they hope that they'll just bombard you and you'll miss something or they can overload you or something. Okay, so a blessing of stability. It's going to be all right. I mean, all these little moving pieces, you're finding a way to like Tetris, balance them just right, or you will be. Just keep going. Yeah, see, the Seelie and the Unseelie both answer to me. So I just got chills. When it comes to them versus you, if it's either of you that have the support of the Fae, it's not them. Right, blessing of Bridget's flame. This is about hope and luck as well on levels. Being able to illuminate and kind of persevere, push forward. There's more to it though. Let's see. I want to see what are these moving pieces, because one of the things was yes and no about. Hold on. I'm so close. I feel like I'm right on the edge of figuring what this is, but hold on. Okay. I hear don't push back and like be combative, but don't let them bully or push you around. Like definitely stand up for yourself. But I'm hearing something about like don't be the conflict that they're looking to try to make out of you. You know what I mean? Again, there's more to it than that. And it's just about the balance, study. It's about using that discernment and wisdom. Knowing when you need to stand up for yourself and how sternly you need to, and then also knowing when they're trying to trigger you to try to make you seem like the bad guy they've been trying to paint you out to be. But you're on the right path. And look, what's at the bottom? Counseling and animals. So it's standing up for protecting animals. Artist also. You've just been minding your business, right? Doing your art. Trying to classes, seminars. Trying to work on yourself or maybe learning. Yeah, they need to just leave you alone. It's been a lack of support though. I hear not anymore. There's something about support coming through. Family in reverse, crystals in reverse, right? The statue. And there's something about not trusting these people, knowing that you can't because they've been trying to block you off, block your options off in the scale. It's not just, it's not an upright situation with this court stuff. And they're taking creative liberty to lie. It's not truthful. It's not creative. It's just fabrication. Because they're being strength in reverse. They're being devilish. But talk to the angels. Music also. Here, you don't know my name, know my name. And I feel like it might not even be your name so much as like people just pointing fingers and making stuff up, making whatever up about others that they feel like suits their agenda. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're just over here minding our business. Study. This also might be writing for you, right? If you've had to use your wisdom or your knowledge about the situation to speak up and tell the truth. I hear that you won't really have to do that or convince anybody. The truth just kind of stands on its own. Like, how silly is that? They're saying your dog has no water, you've got a pool out there, etc., etc. We just go down the list. Same thing with that federal mail nonsense that I got a few days ago or a few weeks ago. It's like everything in it is just nonsense, and I can prove line by line. It's just not very smart of them. Oh, split the deck. Justice. You'll be fine, though. This is part of your purpose. And you know, I've been getting downloads about that for me too. Like, for as much as I have not wanted to deal with this, for as stressful as it's been at some points, I also know that part of my purpose is to help children in the legal system. And so I didn't ask for criminals to pick fights and cause problems and require me to have to handle things at all, let alone legally, but they did. I wasn't going to just kick back and let them abuse children, because that was the other option, and it wasn't an option, not for me. That's what they wanted, but not for me. However, long before there were any court stuff, long before there were any issues or anything that needed to go to court or that was even eligible to go to court that popped up, actually it was this deck that told me that part of my life purpose was to help children and in the justice system and other stuff too, like animals and all the stuff that I'm doing. Speaking of speaker, and I'm not even on screen right now, but I still have stuff to say. Gift of oration, cards, right? But flower essences, I haven't even showed you, but I did pull a few of those out. Just one today, actually. Oak to restore endurance, and then the skull cap for nervous system anxiety. But just to quickly recap this, because I'm noticing the parallel. I brushed it off. I'm like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a vet. No. And I brushed it off. But then a few years later, these people caused problems, and if it didn't require me to use the legal system to address them, then they started filing false stuff through the system. And so it came true. I did have to start using the system to stand up for people, or standing up for people through it or in it. And they were trying to silence me. You've seen it too. You've also picked it up too. Writing is here, and sensitivity. So this may be like a statement, even just a witness or victim impact statement or something. Yeah, about their corruption. Document. Make sure to document. I got another one for you, because I feel like there might be a parallel here on some level. It may have to do with somebody in the court also for you. But the other day I had to, as actually one of the things that this was in relation to was some of the death threats that I had been receiving again recently. And so I reached out to the police, and they said to email this one officer who was the responding officer on duty at that point. So I did. And he responded back and said, yeah, I can't help you with this. Contact my supervisor, meaning I'm not going to do my job. Go tell my boss about it. I'm like, do you really want me to do that? This is not going to turn out for you the way you think it's going to turn out for you. You want me to go tell your boss you're refusing to do your job? Do you hear yourself? And I did. And then I also looped their boss into the email and the district attorney. So there's that. As far as the notes go, anytime I'm picking up, like if you're on a walk or in the shower, just like jot down the little notes that you think in your head, or if you get a flashback or something that's coming up, write it down so that when you go and you compose your paragraphs or your whatever it is that you're writing up, you can add those in and kind of form a paragraph around the topics. And that way also I find that you don't have to keep it stuck in your head. Like you can kind of let it go. You can kind of release it. You don't have to hold on to it. It's like trying to remember everything can create anxiety, because you don't want to forget anything. So you have it there when you need it, but then you can't let it go. And it's just this ball of tension in your chest. And I feel that too, girl. Get it. It's a yucky feeling. But we got it. Healer. Heart's desires. We'll do some more Reiki in a minute if you want to. You're on the right path. Also, I just heard I'm proud of you and you're protected. They're trying to scare you. That's why I said just keep note of everything. And then also, and when people aren't doing their jobs and when they're doing things that they shouldn't be, like abusing their jobs. But yeah, remember what I said also about you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. And like maybe you were afraid to speak up or didn't have the energy or the stamina to do so before, but you have the potential to do it. Also, this energy will give you the potential to shift some things around and either open up and expand into a deeper level of your desired career path or into a new one. Look, I just split the deck again. Options, yeah. And it's upright this time. But it's like good karma coming from handling whatever this is. It's balancing the scales. These people thought that they were going to get some kind of opportunity or something. Or they were being opportunists, thinking that what? Since you've been injured at certain points in your life and you seem like you're kind of alone or whatever, that you're an easy target. Yeah, we've seen that before. Yeah, I still feel like there's a little bit more, and I want to know what that was about like timeline or hold on. Goodness. There it is. Can you tell me about those other little pieces? Because I don't, those ones are bothering me. It's like anxiety. I feel like they're important moving pieces, kind of, or they're pieces that affect the moving pieces. I hear you're going to know it. If something shifts, like one of the messages was about, I'll use myself as an example, okay? Sometimes when there are court dates, like Van Horn, right? If he's confident that he's going to win in court and he thinks he has the upper hand, he'll just try to plow and bully right through, all confident and thinking he's got the upper hand, right? But there have been, I think, only 2 separate times where he, maybe a few more than that now, but he's been spooked because he knew that he did not have the upper hand. He knew that I was about to splay him out on the chopping block in court. And so he asked for extensions or continuances or made excuses. At certain points, he went on vacation. He asked for vacations for the criminals so that they didn't have to go to court right away. And then when they came back from vacation to postpone it again, he asked for a vacation for himself. I heard that. And somebody says, well, isn't that supposed to be illegal? They can't just like change the court dates behind your back. Unfortunately, no, they're not supposed to do that. If I had a lawyer, they would have had to ask my lawyer if that was okay. But since I didn't at that point, even though they're supposed to, and sometimes the clerks were doing their job and contacting me and asking me permission, no, Van Horn would claim that without contacting me to ask me permission, that he just didn't know my stance on the matter because he never bothered to ask, which was because he knew I would say no. And so he just tried to go over my head and have the judge grant him this behind my back without any permission, and he's just been manipulating things like that for years. So bottom line, if they're trying to suddenly push things around and you have an option to say, no, I would like to keep the date as it is, as long as you don't get some kind of intuitive call in a specific situation on anything that tells you otherwise, then keep the date. It's one of those, because if they're trying to push it back, it's like they're realizing you're not budging, or they misjudged you, or they actually are, maybe they overestimated themselves and they're realizing it and they're scared. They're trying to buy themselves more time or something, and it means you've got them where you want them, pretty much. by their balls in a vice grip and by their jugulars in the corner they wanted to back you in. Look, I just split the deck. Boom. And I did the chakra healing last night. Time to tune into your feminine, the rise of the divine feminine, into your feminine side and think with your heart. They're trying to put you in your head and make you scared. And I felt that. It was tension in the chest and in the stomach. So they were trying to create fear and anxiety and to keep us closed off because, I mean, like really, the heart chakra, if we're talking about a Kundalini rise, goes from the root up to the solar plexus and sacral, then it goes up to the heart, and you go through the heart to get up to the throat and then the third eye. So they were trying to block off those lower chakra sections too. Getting outside, sunlight came out twice for you also. Making a point, I know it's hot, but even just for a few minutes a day, making a point to get a bit of sun. Also, this came out, psychics. Some people are very gifted, and there's forgiveness, a level of forgiveness here. You don't have to let people back in your life. Hold on. But I feel like this is about releasing. Like, you don't have to let, let's say, Mary or anybody like that back in your life, but you also don't have to harbor the hurt that they were causing by holding unforgiveness in their life. Like, these people are evil, but they seem also super mentally ill. I mean, like, you can't blame a clown for being a clown. It's that type of an energy. And so, of course, take the time that you need to process this. But you don't have to hold that. What they're doing is malicious and it's unstable behavior. Did you hear me, Mary and Co? If you're watching, what you're doing is mentally unstable and malicious. You need psychological help, and there's nothing that you can tell me that will convince me otherwise because I've seen what you've been doing. And also remember that you left little comments and stuff at me. So I didn't forget, even if you did. Even if you forgot where you are, I didn't. Yeah, see, like I said, get the help you need. Some people need to go get help. And as far as my light workers and I go, and if you need to get some support, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in, I hear that, something about needing a little, you know how in a garden, if a flower is, or a plant is too heavy or it hasn't strengthened up or something's happened to it and it's gotten damaged, maybe that it was too windy and a branch snapped or something, they put those little trellises on it, or they'll put one of those sticks in the ground and kind of wrap little, not zip ties, but they'll kind of clip it to the spike to keep it upright, to keep it from falling down so it can heal and then stay alive. It's like that. There's nothing wrong with getting some support for the harm that other people have done. Now, these people need to get support so they stop going around hurting themselves and, hurting other people, and yeah, also hurting themselves, getting themselves into trouble in the process of doing so. But it's just, you see it for what it is. You can't blame a mosquito for being drawn to the light. You just set a harder boundary and move on. Pretty much. Turn up the bug zapper, not out of malice, out of self-protection, and it is what it is. Crank up the light and the shadows will dissipate. There's also something about loving yourself at each stage, and then also nurturing and regenerating yourself. You know what? There's also something about money I'm picking up here. If there were false claims made against you, or there was false prosecution or persecutory stuff going on from Vegas, like the government on any level in Vegas, you might have claims to sue. I just heard personal injury for one, and then also violation of rights. Lose your cool. Okay, so this is, it's, when people try to push our buttons, especially when we're already exhausted, sometimes we get a little snappy, and that's what it is. But for the same people trying to persecute you for not always 100% of the time being chill while they're trying to push you over the edge, yeah, they would not handle things in our position, even fragmentally as well. So why are they judging situations that they would already have long since fumbled in? It just mind your business. If you have nothing nice to say, say nothing. Don't make people's lives harder. For the people sitting there gossiping about others, we don't want to hear what nasty things you have to say about other people, right? If you see somebody going through something, don't sit there and gossip about them. Go help them or shut up. Mind your business. I don't see why they want that Mother Mary statue so badly when all they want to do is sit there and be demonic. You think Mother Mary wants to sit in their house? I don't think so. Sun. Make sure you get some sunlight. Also, this is a reference of illumination, but tapping into that sun energy, you know what I'm also picking up is like Aztec. It's like and Mexican earlier too, or some kind of Spanish energy I picked up again. Also, it may be a past life energy, but there's something about that type of food, like tomatoes. I'm seeing like green chilies or peppers or something, and it's like some kind of Spanish or Mexican food. Tapping into that type of culture and energy, if you like it, if you like to even just like quesadillas and stuff, if you like to cook that type of stuff or eat that type of food, there's something about healing or tapping into like a past life energy. It may also activate the lower chakras. It will. I hear it will. The red energies, the red food, tomatoes, if you like those, even the green chilies or anything like that, guacamole and stuff like that would be heart chakra. So the color therapy and the food references also crossing over here. But there's something about healing this energy with food. You know how after I get done with a battle or I've cleared a battle, even just a spiritual battle, God will say, okay, it's time for surf and turf. You've had this toxic earth sign after you, this toxic Taurus. So Taurus the bull, Taurus the bully, and then the toxic Cancerian. So the crab after you, go have some surf and turf. They've been trying to eat you alive. These energy vampires, go flip that script. It's kind of like that. Except for you can use really anything, food, music, to tap into those. You mean the Akashics were coming out, so those past life energy cycles. And also that makes sense because the persecution energy, the whole let me take things from you, let me make the false claims against you, a lot of that came, I hear Spanish Inquisition, there it is. So there's some kind of, and they had a whole persecution thing where they were trying to get people to switch to their religion, and they were like terrorizing and torturing people who wouldn't. Yeah. And then lots of battle stuff with the Aztecs too. Why am I picking this up? Hold on. Okay. The Valley of Fire State Park is known for its red Aztec sandstone formations. Is in Nevada. Oh, I hope that you have a good time. Have a good dinner. And I'll catch you on the next one. Drive safe. And enjoy your food. Make sure to look for shooting stars. One love. Somebody says, why? I don't know, I just got the download. Remember to look up. Check out that pretty moon, if it's there. It may not be. No, we're actually at a new moon cycle, so you probably won't see that, but check the stars. So as far as Nevada goes, Vegas, Nevada, my ear just started ringing too. Also, you're welcome. Heard that. The Valley of Fire State Park, known for its red Aztec sandstone formations. Let's see. Sandstone. And they talked about the dust. They complained about the dust too, didn't they? Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area offers a stunning display of Aztec sandstone. It's a geological formation known for its bright red hues and distinct layering patterns. You know what it looks like to me? Two things. I actually have a big piece of that here. I think I have it. No, it's over here. And this actually came from Tony, because on one of his business trips, he was traveling through a couple of the deserts. And yeah, I don't blame you. This is, the cat's suddenly having a hairball. This is why he ended up coming home with. However, that would tie into why I was picking up that Aztec kind of war energy and people being combative. And then also, Red Rock's word. Benson Boone did a video. And it looks like they're some kind of red rock. Hold on. Well, not quite, but close. Benson Boone's song Beautiful Things was filmed in and around St. George, Utah. And that is... yeah, those are close. So that's why the sandstone formations are the same, or very similar anyway. Okay, so this is some past life energy for you and where this is coming from, some of it. Oh, and then Albuquerque. Uh-huh. Okay. Albuquerque's right below you, or right down off to the side. Albuquerque is New Mexico. There are ties here. Alrighty. But in this Beautiful Things song, it's the background. It looks like those red Rockies. The back, red rocks. I know Colorado has some peaks as well. Look at this. I'm gonna try that one more time.
For a while there it was rough, but lately I've been doing better than the last 4 cold Decembers I recall. And I see my family every month. I found a girl my parents love. She'll come and stay the night, and I think I might have it all. And I think I every day. For the girl he sent my way. But I know the things he gives me, he can take away. And I hold you every night. And that's a feeling I wanna get used to. But there's no man as terrified as the man who stands to lose you. Oh, I hope I don't lose you.
Wait.
Oh, I hope I don't lose you. Please stay. I want you, I need you, oh God. Don't take these beautiful things that I've got.
Okay. I know that any person that I've ever known to have those rosy pink cheeks that has them, they don't like their rosy cheeks. I think his rosy cheeks are so precious. So I hope he never feels that way about them. I don't know if it's a genetic thing or a health thing. I think it might be different for different people, but so here's this. Tell them nothing. We already know that. Those are not your people. You know that. This is just confirmation, I think. You're feeling a bit unpopular with your friends and family. It's what happens when you're the black sheep. But obviously, you're doing something right. The worst is now behind you. So look forward to a much happier life. I hear something about getting over this last little hurdle, and then like, there's nothing really that can hold you back. This is a scam. This is somebody trying to set you up or cause problems, but you already know that. And look, what did I say earlier? I just split the deck. Go with the flow. Relax. It will all work out in the end. Oh, and look. Choose foods wisely. Help yourself and the planet by reconsidering what you eat. This could be indicative of like eating more plant-based or something. But we talked about that, the color therapy and the different nutrients, or even just tapping into and healing these. Like if I'm picking up on personally like lots of Asian past life energies, often that week I'll be drawn more towards that type of cuisine. I'll do a lot more cooking in that type of style. They're the black sheep and I'm the family. Yeah, look, drastic changes. You may be going through a dark night of the soul. And you know what? I also picked that clearing of one out, the tail end of this last one out myself, for myself as well the last week. So don't feel bad. It seems like that's just, look, there it is. A divine feminine energy that a lot of us are clearing out right now. Pure water. No guts, no glory. Be brave and go and do what you want to do. Also, what, responsibilities and speaking of the truth that you need to address if necessary. But yeah, make sure to keep yourself clear of unhealthy people. I know you don't even drink or anything like that, right? Substances, or maybe it's people who are doing these things. Okay. If you're dealing with people who are on substances or addicted, they're already in that energy vampirism energy, and it's like they're trying to relieve that through the alcohol. This may make them worse, and therefore they're going to look to try to feed on you. So just be mindful. Look, I mentioned that last night. People remember how you make them feel. We might be years and people might forget, karmics, I said last night, how everything that you said to them, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Like you may think, oh, it's all this time that's passed. Do you even remember all the nasty things I said to you? I'm like, I might not remember every word verbatim in some cases, depending on the person and the situation or whatever the dynamic may be. And maybe I do, but either way, I won't forget how uncomfortable you made me. I won't forget how you made me not trust you. I won't forget how I had to heal from that situation. And I certainly won't let you in to have the opportunity to do it again. Toodles. And that's why they're catching karma, because they always thought that you'd be the punching bag, emotionally or otherwise. And that's not it. They're realizing that that was not it. They were full of it. They were full of hot air. But you could finish this. You've already started writing that list out. There's always a way out of your difficulties. 135:22. Empath just popped out too. But make sure to cleanse your energy and be mindful. I just saw sage. Make sure to smudge, but also make sure to put it out. Make sure there are no fires that are caught. And then there's something about being honest. Your message was just to be honest, and that's why they're being caught up, because they weren't. Loose lips sink ships. Just heard I'm proud of you. There's another deck. Hold on, I see it.
I found my mind, I'm feeling sane. It's been a while, but I'm finding my faith. If everything's good and it's great, why do I sit and wait till it's gone? Oh, I'll tell you, I know I've got enough. I've got peace and I've got love. But I'm up and I think
I need to smoke a bowl. Would you like to join me? I have, oh God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more decks. I went to grab one and a bunch more jumped out at me. I think we're going to use them. I don't think it'll take me long, but I need to stop. I'm also getting hives. What is this? Karmics. I wish I hadn't, oh, they're panicking. I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, I bet you do. I bet you do. For sure. They're upset. All right, hold on. Speaking of, I need a little bit of nutrition. Kombucha, protein. Bull pack. Yeah, girl, that camping in the desert thing, I think that would spook me too. Just where you're talking about. Oh, I'll just cut 2 things. Also skinwalkers. But I've watched a number of true crimes. Like weird stuff in the desert. I think also sometimes cults do their little rituals out there in the middle of the night when they think it's empty. I wouldn't want to be caught out there with them or anything like that. I don't blame you. Beautiful, but isolated, I'm sure. All right. Hi, baby kitty. Did you have a good nap? Honey bunny. Careful. Oh, kitty, kitty. It's not really a great spot for you, my lovins. Need a hug? Okay. Where's mommy's lighter? In my pocket. Oh, baby boy. I hear don't give up. Don't give up on the puppies. And I also hear they need you. Or whatever the situation is, the dogs or whatever it is that you're fighting for, don't give up. I hear something about they're yours. I hear something about they can't take them. They have no right. And things are going to go your way. Something about their bluffing. Remember when I said something about people trying to shift the calendar around? It's like when they realize their bluff isn't working or you didn't buy it, that's when they start to try to shift. They get spooked. It's that mirroring thing. They think if they try to... I picked this up with a combative person who's been targeting me from here, you know. But it's the same energy I'm picking up. And they try to mirror your confidence. Like if you speak confidently because you know what you're talking about and you're standing in the truth and they don't like that truth, they will try to reflect your confidence back to you, but in reverse. So they'll try to combat whatever you're saying with whatever nonsense they're saying, but they'll try to speak it with Noah Khan, I hear, false confidence. They will try to speak with a false bravado by mirroring your true confidence. And they think that if they can try to present themselves as confident because your true confidence makes them feel insecure, then their false projection of confidence might make you insecure. And then they can try to get you to wiggle into whatever, tolerating whatever they want you to tolerate. And basically they're trying to bluff and they don't want you to see through it. That's what that is. It's a false show of confidence. I hear this. False confidence. It's by Noah. I like this. Hi, baby. Oh. Hi, sweet boy. Mama's gonna take that now. I'm gonna use it again, but probably not until tonight or tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how long that bake takes. And I think I'll make some sweet bread too. You look like you had a good nappy. Pretty boy. All right. Conformity is a no, exactly.
Don't take
This is to the karmics. Don't take yourself so seriously. Who do you think you are? Mary?
Don't take yourself so seriously. Look at you all dressed up for someone you never see.
Right? And they all dressed up and they all tried to come to town to talk to you and you wouldn't go see them, right? Look at you all dressed up for someone you'll never see.
You're here for a reason, but you don't know why. You're splitting and even your hands to the sky. Surrender your to be built back up again. Oh, I hope somehow I'll wake up young again.
Nope.
That's left of myself, holes in my false confidence.
All that's left in myself, holes in my false confidence, they said. Yep. No, we will not. No. Nope. I do not kneel down for love. Do not disrespect yourself. You do not need to make yourself smaller to make other people comfortable. They can rise up and grow to meet you, or they can vibrate out. Ah, okay, so these karmics, now I lay myself down and hope I wake up young again. You know what? I feel like she also feels like that you're aging based on the card that came out earlier. Like just your growth as a person also. I hear uncouth versus gracefully aging, or being gracefully ageless. What is this one? Okay. So this is a... He looks a little creepy, but he's said to be kind of like an extraterrestrial. It's more reminding me of Mount Shasta. My stomach just dropped. It looks to be, this is a benign space brother who offered healing medicine. So kind of like an alien who healed, which doesn't that sound like Shasta to me? And it does to me. Serious. Yeah. And then the Flatwoods monster. Okay, so you've got like the healing alien collective versus these karmic witches. The Flatwoods monster. Sirius is a star system there. It's a light worker, a starseed system. So this also kind of like an alien-esque creature. Does it say anything about it though? Not necessarily violent in the sense of wishing deliberate harm on others, but is noted for being a creature that supposedly caused danger to those it encountered. So there are mixed energies about it. Two things I'm picking up. You've got these karmics who try to pretend like they're harmless or they're nice and safe, and they're not. They're just waiting to target people. Or you've got people who are genuinely kind and they're being falsely accused and villainized. The Wendigo. Yep. And then there are these cold-hearted, usually it's a female energy, and she feels like she's been through some stuff in life, and she turns very cold-hearted to the point where she turns to a monster and she starts ripping people's hearts out and eating them because she's jealous of their love and their beating hearts. And so I would say that sounds like what you've been dealing with. The Loch Ness monster, usually pretty self-explanatory. I don't know what that one is. Hold on. Oh dear, it looks like a little devil thing. It says it's a demon. Crimson figure with pointed teeth and glowing eyes. It looks like the devil. It says messenger of disaster. So it tries to create or prophesize disaster or something. It's chaos magic, chaos conflict. We talked about that. No thanks. Also, I also picked up taffeta in the beginning of this reading, and it's kind of giving that era and style of dress, but usually it was for women, the taffeta. The Loch Ness monster it's like the sea dragon type of a thing. Yeah, no, I don't think they ever will. These are people who thought you were wrong for leaving, and it's okay if they don't, but they just need to leave it alone. The Loch Ness monster. Tell me about that. Ghosts. Not very commonly seen. And when she is seen, Nessie, she is often disbelieved. But it's like, this is one of the most common myths. So it's like, everybody it's like people knowing who you are, but either never really having contacted you themselves, like you just mind your business, or they don't even really believe the myth. Hold on, more to it than that. Fan of ghosts. And so you've left the scene, you've left the building, you try to keep to yourself. Nessie doesn't typically try to go around humans, according to legend. And so they're chasing a ghost because what did you say? It's been 12 years since you took a huge step and to save yourself and your children, and they just don't get it. No, they've just been sitting there trying to find the alien. Mm-hmm. Trying to claim that they're all just advocating. No, you're not. You're harassing them. See? What did I say, Nessie? The other side of it is that they either don't believe the myth or skeptic of saucers. They never really get to see you themselves. Look at the luck, though, on his shirt. St. Patrick's. Hunter of ghosts. See? They're trying to find you, though. Except for, guess what? You have backup. And well, Mary and her little cronies are being seen. Whoop. Yeah. Yeah, look, now they're hiding out. Hiding in a little crevice, hiding in the trench. And claiming that they were advocating for you, right? Remember when she made that mess at the hospital and spun the gossip and all that stuff? And then when you woke up, everything was falling apart because she lied? Claiming she was advocating when really she was taking advantage of the power of attorney. Yeah, what did I say? A skeptic of ghosts. Like, people don't even believe it. They either don't believe that you're legit or they just can't even find you. Yeah, it's crazy. Yep. But this is like alien-esque, angelic energy that they mess with. Look. And there's healing support. Look, coming from a higher realm that they do not know the first thing about, nor do they have any ties to. I'm going to put this one down for now. Look, and you've got support. And even Granny. Okay? But there's something about that sandstone energy as well. And I do feel like you have an ancestral connection, or it might even be that more like extraterrestrial one, but there's something about ties to the land, and it may come from the previous incarnations as well. It's, that's why a lot of those Aztec and like Egyptian cultures would build pyramids, right? And also why they would move those stones and Easter Island in the beginning and the end of the year, the seasonal shifts. It was to map the stars. It was to map the moons and the planetary alignments and stuff as they shifted. So they were all noticing something. I don't think I need to explain that one to you, girl, but I just got chills. Did you feel that? Woo! Okay. Memory. I'm telling you, there's some kind of past life core memory or something here. You don't have to stay the night there, but whatever this is, kind of just going in your own space and path, or this could just be on your journey, like people around you not being very helpful. So, well, fine, I'll get it done myself. It's not ideal, but I'll get it done myself until there's a more balanced situation, but I'll create it in the meantime. Union, exactly. Create it in the meantime. Great diviner, by working with the divine, tuning into myself, my highest self in the meantime. As best as I can, tuning into my own intuition in the meantime. Anything else? Compassion. It's maybe for yourself. Also, if you're dealing with some mentally ill people, it's one of those, like, again, can't blame a clown for being a clown. Don't have to hold on to that resentment, though. It's not healthy for you. Glamour energy, right? They're trying to cloak themselves in your energy or someone else's energy so that they don't have to take accountability, but that's just too bad. Yeah, witch, because what they've been is dark witches, but it's backfired. And remember those herbs that I just shared with you a few minutes ago? skull cap. Okay, and I split the deck. Starseed. So you do have support. And you know what? I got a download about that a few weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I had a specific, very, very high vibrational team come through to me and said, you know, we've been here the whole time. You've never been alone. They're specifically beings that are for healing and justice. Big emphasis on that. Not Seraphim, but they work close to Seraphim. With Seraphim. It's the best way I can describe it right this second. Okay, prudence, self-assuredness, integrity, and clear-mindedness. They wanted you confused. They did not want you to seek justice or speak the truth. But it's because integration, wholeness, repressed emotions. They wanted you to just bury your feelings about the matter and, again, make yourself smaller to make yourself feel comfortable. Submit to them instead of the divine. Letting go, trust, and expansion. Especially if this coddled them in some way. And despite the fact that this caused some kind of instability to you. But accountability is here. Spiritual growth, healing. They don't have a choice. They're having to take that now. Higher self, fertility, creativity. Yeah. I'm sick of being the liar that tells straight truth. I know, girl. I know. Just because they don't like the truth does not make it untrue. Like, you don't have to like it, but you do have to bite it. There's something about evidence that they just cannot, I hear incontrovertible evidence. Evidence that they just cannot deny. That they just can't. Look what just flipped out. Scales, justice, and documents. You're fine. This is going to work out just fine. Unfolding and surprise. Something in your favor. You just don't even see it yet because you just see the externals or the shell of it. Flowers, romance, and sweetness. That's twice. Union came out too. So I would say you've got blessings coming. News, a message. Hidden gem. Pearl. Wisdom keeper. There's information here, right? Use your own wisdom, but also it's about having the facts and the information, and this will help you. Speaking of, you just put a bunch of dead roses, but tree, growth, stability. It will help you start fresh, and it's like planting new seeds, or finally the seeds that you planted being able to blossom. Inheritance and mail just came out. Oh, this might have to do with, I hear it does, your dad. Remember the Mount Shasta was coming out? And you know what? There was in that picture with the desert on it, and I said there were ancestors in the background. There was one figure. Oh, goodness. Okay. Let me just pull this up really quickly. So there was a card that I was pulling a few minutes ago, and it was a desert scene, and it was there were 3 ancestors in this desert, and then there was a 4th one, and you couldn't really see that one, but it was a silhouette. And it's like that one was kind of hidden, but that one kind of looked like it could be a very big built solid guy. Very much kind of looked like your dad. I'm sending you something also right now. there's that. So tell me about this. Inheritance came out. So I would say, I'm hearing that not to say too much because I hear Mary's watching. Okay. Or possibly daughter. Whether it's yours or do you have a sibling? I think she might be talking about your oldest or one of your older ones. Or maybe it's her sister. Doesn't she have a sister too? I don't know. There's something about like Mary and some other female around her, possibly one of the older girls trying to get access, but it's created an obstacle, or they've tried to. Pregnancy, wealth, exactly. I just got Britney Spears, the conservatorship thing. Yeah, we know that. That's old news. But I would say this is coming back around again. Something about a discrediting tactic, whether it's deliberate or it's just like the devil moving through these people to do it. It's like if they can try to discredit you or overwhelm you with the nonsense and make false accusations, and they can try to justify blocking out whatever this is that they wanted to take from you. You see? Endings and beginnings. Evil eye protection. So that's an end to that toxic cycle, and it's being closed out. You're good. You're being protected and shielded from it. So just keep going. Also, I'm hearing something about you think you know more than you think, or something like that. I think a lot of this may just be, not all of it. I'm hearing some of it's newer information, and I'm happy to help with that. But I'm hearing that some of it's just confirmation. Like maybe you just needed to have somebody confirm or tell you what you already knew. But you're good, at least in this regard. Okay. Practice self-compassion also came out. That came out earlier, the compassion card, and I felt like it was especially about having compassion with yourself, right? And not taking these gaslighting attempts that they were trying to project onto you. Release shame. Retreat to the natural world. Also, remember they kept saying something about maybe tuning into the desert. Any place with a red rock space, or that type of like red dust energy. Blah. Experience the passion of fire. And isn't what that place was called? What was it? Like Aztec something. Hold on. Aztec Sandstone Vegas. Where is it? Valley of Fire State Park. I'm telling you. If you go there, or you tap into that energy, you may get some past life downloads, or even just some healing, some alignment, something about the space of energy, maybe even the minerals around the space that will do your body good. Center yourself. Yeah, maybe very grounding. Restore yourself with alone time. Like I said, you don't have to stay the night, but enjoy the tranquility of water also came out. Immerse yourself in a soothing bath. Walk near a body of water, or gently splash water on your face. Meditate on the spaciousness of air, right? All of that's open space out there too. And release fear. I feel like that has to do with all situations, being able to get out and adventure, as well as being able to stand up for yourself and others, or speak without fear, knowing that you don't have to tell them all your business, but you don't have to be afraid of speaking up either. 165:22. Let's do a bit more Reiki. Also, I'm watching the last 5 minutes of what is it? I'm about 38 minutes into this 45-minute video. It's a Jordan group horror video, so I'm going to start it right here. And just to spoiler alert, it's towards the tail end of it. So while I finish up this Reiki, I'm going to listen to the last 5 minutes. Feel free to join me. There's acceleration Reiki coming through. So, I've been picking that up lately also, quantum leaping. Somebody's laying down or sitting down with their feet up, and that's fine, but I see your ankles crossed. That will create a blockage in the circuit. So make sure that you're not creating a kink in the hose, basically. Won't hurt either of us, but it's not as helpful for you.
My eyes opened. I was picking up my wife's gun. My hands were stained with blood.
Oh dear.
A goat's head lay discarded on the floor. I spoke, but it wasn't my words. I didn't pick them. How about now? I said. You'll play with me, huh? Are you gonna shoot me too? Norman was screaming from the other.
Okay, this one's a lot. I'm not gonna make everybody watch this. I got intense pretty quickly. Only because I'm currently doing Reiki. And I don't feel like it's as conducive to the energy right now. What I will do he has a new one. It was out an hour ago. It's right up my alley. It says, I built a suitcase fortress for my cats. Things got weird fast.
Relative. His
Jordan,
home fell to
this
me.
is also Jordan
Default.
group horror.
What do you do with a room full of old, musty suitcases? This question came to my mind after I'd had a look through my late uncle's estate. He'd recently passed away, and as his only living relative, his home fell to me by default. I knew I wouldn't find much of value. His old farmstead was big, but in terrible condition. The furniture was a remnant of days past, and the many tools he'd amassed were rusty and hadn't been touched in years. I found the suitcases in a storage room at the back of the house. They filled an entire room. I blinked, shook my head, and looked again. What the hell? I knew some people owned.
There is impedance Reiki, so anything that was creating blockages is being removed. There's also halogen Reiki coming through, so super, super bright illumination. And then also, it's like prismatic fractal Reiki. Hits all the chakra colors as well as white and then violet, like the UV violet, blue white, indigo. And then there's diamond Reiki coming through, which I love. It's very crisp, clean, clear, concise, conscious energy, and it spills through the whole aura like a really clean, nice, sharp mind but the whole body and aura ends up feeling like this. Love it.
Multiple suitcases or even multiple sets. This was different. Who the hell owned an entire room full of them? I solved the mystery quickly. In his later years, my uncle had worked as a market trader. He bought cheap products in bulk before selling it on the weekly markets in the area. These suitcases were one of his last purchases. I tried to figure out how many there were, but it seemed impossible. There had to be hundreds of the damn things. I had a closer look at one of them, hoping they might be worth something. It was huge, massive even, but the quality was shoddy at best. The exterior was made of synthetic leather, thin and flimsy to the touch. Inside, the lining was covered in strange pinkish satin. Even worse, the suitcases gave off an odd smell, an unpleasant combination of something sweet and musty. Nonetheless, a few days later, I took one suitcase to a pawn shop in a nearby town. When I handed it to the owner, he frowned. He turned it around a few times before he opened it. He wrinkled his nose at the odd smell, before his eyes fell on the strange inner lining. Confusion came over his face, quickly replaced by disdain, before he shook his head. Hope you didn't pay much for it. It's pretty much worthless. The materials are terrible. The design is shoddy and old-fashioned. I sighed. I expected as much. But don't you think collectors or vintage enthusiasts might be interested in them? The man shrugged. You give eBay a try. I wouldn't count on it.
Okay, I'm doing
Sure
the
you don't want to
cord
give it a try
cutting.
yourself?
Cord cutting now, making sure that's all closed up, and then we're good to go.
The man laughed and shoved the suitcase back in my direction. Sorry, no dice. I thanked the man and made my way back to my uncle's home. For a few days, I left the suitcases where they were, a forgotten memento of my late uncle's life. Still, they lingered on my mind, and eventually I couldn't pretend they didn't exist anymore. I began to...
Okay, that's all for now. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.